Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome to my channel. So, today we are gonna see, what if Naruto x Yugito x Pakura x Ameyuri, part 1. Subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Let's start the story. Rage. Pure. Unadulterated. Rage. That's all Naruto Uzumaki felt. He never felt so furious. He felt as if his body was one fire. As if molten lava was flowing straight through his veins, and he was swimming in the deepest pits of hell. He had just watched his best friend die right before his eyes, and he couldn't do a damn thing about it. He felt so angry at himself, angry at the feeling of being so helpless. Let it be known, if it was one thing Naruto hated more than loneliness, it was feeling helpless. Mix that with the fact that he had just watched his only friend die, it wasn't going to be pretty. Cracks. But not like the ground cracking, no, it was something far more malevolent. Something far more powerful. Slowly, red chakra began to seep through Naruto's form, and began to form a construct of a bubbly red cloak that popped around his form, like lava did in a volcano. His hands grew more bony, and his nails had lengthened into a claw-like shape. The Uzumaki steadily stood on both feet with his vision secured on both his feet. Little did he know, his eyes began to glow a dim silver, and started changing shape. The masked shinobi who had killed Sasuke took an involuntary step back, as he watched the blonde genin rise to his feet. He gasped shortly when he felt the pressure of chakra weighing him down. He hastily flared his own chakra in an attempt to disrupt his opponent's chakra, and fight back against the opposing pressure, but with no avail. But it wouldn't work. If anything, the chakra began to get stronger, denser, darker, and more malevolent, far more bone-chilling. This shouldn't be possible. This chakra is worse than what Zabuza-sama could ever put out. He was just out of chakra not even a second ago, so how is he still standing? The masked stranger, though with strangled gasp, Naruto's red chakra cloak, took another jump in power and strength. But Kakashi and Zabuza, the two highly seasoned shinobi, fought vigorously as they swapped blow for blow. Strike for strike. Jutsu for jutsu. Neither letting up for a second. That was until both shinobi felt a huge spike of killer intent, coupled with an even larger amount of chakra following behind it. Both shinobi stopped mid-attack, and snapped their heads towards the location of the abnormal chakra spike. The ice dome. What the hell? Zabuza yelled in shock, and reared back in shock. He recognized that kind of chakra. It felt exactly like Yugura's, yet stronger, and way more untamed. It felt like a wildfire. It was uncontrollable. As Zabuza was bet, it felt exactly like Jinchuriki chakra. Is that what that boy is? A Jinchuriki? If that's true, then Haku's as good as dead. He thought in shock, as he shivered in fright. If he was even half as strong as Yugura, then he didn't stand a chance. Kakashi, on the other hand, was looking at the ice dome in worry. Okay, the seal didn't break, so Naruto is probably just accessing the chakra. But he's using an alarming amount for his first time accessing it. What's forcing him to use that much? Is it another enemy? No, that can be right. I would have sensed a foreign chakra spike if that was the case. The silver-haired Chunin thought, be careful Naruto Sasuke. He thought before striking it distracted Zabuza with a sharp left hook. Zabuza growled before charging back into battle with one thought left on his mind, be careful Haku. Just as the masked hunter Nin was about to make his move, Naruto snapped his head up, revealing a set of bright purple eyes with one centric circle that outlined a small dot-like pupil. The red bubbly chakra exploded off him. The chakra started to form a violent tornado, and Naruto was in the center of it all. Purple lightning began to dance around the uncontrollable chakra twister. Just as the Kari Hunter Nin was about to flee, the blood-red chakra suddenly vanished without a trace. All in one swoop. Gone. Disappeared. In his place, stood a short blonde who stood at an even 5 feet in length. His previous jumpsuit was now in tatters. The top half was completely burned off, and his right pant leg was burned off as well. But on his tailbone, stood two long, roughly 4 feet long, and a foot and half feet in diameter, were red bubbly chakra tails. They idly twitched in the air, as the now warm air came into contact with them. Suddenly, Naruto's tails twitched slightly before shooting forward in a blink of an eye. The Hunter Nin barely dodged the first strike, but couldn't dodge the second strike, and was slammed straight into his ice mirror, creating spider web cracks where he was slammed. Groaning slightly, I didn't even see those tails move. It's just luck that I dodged the first one. He thought in pain. He hunched forward, and fell to the ground. Panting slightly, as he did so, he quickly hopped to his feet, and dodged another swipe from Naruto's tails. He quickly dashed forward, and quickly ran through a few hand seals, Hijutsu. Sensatsu Sushin, secret technique. 1,000 flying water needles of death. He exclaimed, as gathered the looming water moisture, and formed them into a barrage of long frozen needles. Once his technique was done forming, he let loose the barrage, and jumped backwards, as he did so. Naruto was forward while looking impassively with half-idle eyes, as if this whole situation was boring to him, as if he didn't have a care in the world. He lazily brought up his hand, stated in a calm everlasting voice, Shinra Tensei, almighty push. Stated in calm voice that held an edge of forcefulness, as an invisible force propelled all the incoming needles backwards. The hunter nin quickly disappeared into another mirror. He fluently kept swapping between mirrors, trying to confuse the newly transformed Jinchuriki, before setting onto one right behind Naruto. Okay, let's try this again. He swiftly brought his hands out, materialized a couple of frozen needles, and called out his jutsu, Hijutsu. Sensatsu Sushin, secret technique. 1,000 flying water needles of death. He yelled, as he summoned another wave of frozen needles, sending them straight at Naruto's back. Said blonde grinned sinisterly, as his tails parried, and deflected all of the needles, all in one fluid motion. Naruto formed a familiar cross-hand seal, and few short puffs of smoke. 3 more Narutos appeared, and all of them had the Rinnegan, but they didn't have the red chakra tails. As if the original Naruto commanded, the 3 copies quickly dashed forward, and started doing hand seals on their own. Bunshin Daibakuha, clone grade explosion. The 3 Narutos yelled in unison before exploding outwards in a massive explosion, causing the entire ice dome to implode in the massive explosion. The hunter nin looked forward in shock at how easily his ice mirrors were destroyed. He severely underestimated the blonde Jinchuriki, and he would pay the price for it. He barely got out of the ice dome alive, but he still received several wounds from his opponent's attack. Coughing slightly, as he got on knee, just as the smoke-cleared Naruto was revealed without a scratch on him. Just then, Naruto disappeared, and in a red flash of light Naruto's foot was embedded in Hunter Nin's unguarded stomach. He flew back a few meters before hitting his back against a brick wall, causing him to sit up. A glob of saliva mixed in with a good portion of his own blood. I didn't even see HMM move. He thought furiously, as he hunched forward, and fell out the wall. While Naruto just looked on with emotionless eyes, on the inside he was shocked. He was never able to move at that speed. He was nearly lost in the new developments. Naruto was acting purely on instinct, though he'd have to thank Kakashi-sensei for teaching him the Bunshin Daibakuha. It really did come in handy. He snapped out his thoughts when he narrowly dodged a frozen kunai that sailed past the right side of his head. Naruto narrowed his eyes. He got distracted. Even he knew that was rule number 1 when it came to combat. Never lose focus during a battle. He disappeared once again in a burst of speed, and roundhouse kicked the hunter nin square across the face, shattering his mask, as his kick came into contact. The second the kick connected, the masked nin was propelled backwards, and was sent through the wall face first, destroying the concrete wall upon impact. He slowly got up with a purple bruise slowly forming on his cheek. Now that mask was gone, Naruto could clearly see his face, and his eyes widened in shock and disbelief. Flashback. When a person has something important they want to protect, that's when they can become truly strong. Spoke a feminine person with neck-length black hair and brown eyes. Naruto's eyes widened when he said that. Now he remembered what Jiji meant about what he said about the Hokage position. Was that how Jiji was so powerful? By protecting people he loved. Flashback over. Naruto's emotionless demeanor vanished, and was quickly replaced with shock and frustration. Why Haku why? Naruto yelled out at the crouching feminine boy. Naruto sneered in frustration. He didn't get it. Why serve someone like Zabuza and Gato? They were the scum of the earth. They had absolutely no honor. They only cared about themselves, and what interested them. His train of thought was interrupted by a bitter chuckle from Haku. It's because my precious person is Zabuza-sama. I'd do anything for him. He took me in when I was a little girl, right after my mother was murdered by my own father during the bloodline purge that happened in Kiri. It's because of him he's the reason I'm strong. Haku spoke with conviction, as tears streamed down his eyes. Naruto watched on with saddened eyes. He knew that treatment. Discrimination for something that was out of your control, something you never wanted in the first place. It would seem that he and Haku both had more in common than either of them would like to admit. Naruto, I want you to kill me. Haku said in a somber voice, shocking Naruto down to the core. His head snapped towards Haku, and narrowed his eyes. Why Haku, what would I gain from that? Or what would you gain from me ending your life? Huh? Tell me. Naruto yelled angrily, as his chakra flared to a higher amount. It's because I'm nothing but a broken tool. Zabuza-sama has no use for broken tools. I'm worthless. Haku finished in a bitter tone towards the end. That he gave a tool, and what use were broken tools? They were useless. Unusable. Naruto looked on for a few minutes passively before answering. If that's what you Haku, then fine. I'll do it. I'll at least honor that. Naruto answered in a somber tone before pulling out a fresh kunai, and switched his grip to a reverse grip. Each step that Naruto took felt like an eternity for both of them. Finally, Naruto reached Haku, and locked eyes once more, brown meeting purple. Are you sure this is what you want, Haku? Is this what you truly want? Naruto asked once more. The black-haired boy nodded slightly, showing consent. Naruto sighed before gripping his kunai tighter. This was it. He would get his revenge for taking his best friend's life by taking another one of his friends' lives. It all felt like one sick game. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for killing your friend. Haku said his final words. And for what it's worth, I forgive you. Naruto said before charging his kunai straight through Haku's chest, hitting his heart, killing him instantly. Haku died with a smile on his face. Naruto had watched as all the color from his foe's eyes disappeared. Naruto's eyes whitened before dropping to one knee. He never felt so sick, even when he got poisoned once when he was a kid. His eyes started to water before he violently started shaking. He ended someone's life. A previous friend of his. The concept never really clicked before in his head on what he just did before he actually did it. Well, Naruto knew he had to end another person's life somewhere down that road. He never thought that time would be right now. Before he could gravel longer, he fell face first into the ground, unconscious. Mindscape. Naruto's eyes suddenly snapped open. He slowly sat up from his lying position and began to wander around, trying to figure out where he was currently at. That last thing he remembered was killing Haku and falling unconscious. Then all of a sudden he wakes up here. As a matter of fact, where the hell am I? Naruto thought in confusion. He shrugged before walking down what seemed like an endless tunnel that was filled with thigh-high murky water. Naruto kept walking for what seemed like a couple of minutes before stopping. He came into contact with what seemed like a giant cage, with golden bars and paper that read seal. Suddenly 2 red glowing eyes greeted Naruto's blue ones. So, my warden decides to greet me. How generous. Meh, what should I expect anyway, humans are all the same. Spoke a deep growling voice that spoke from inside of the cage. Naruto jumped slightly at the foreign voice before straightening up. He had a hunch on what that was. And if he was correct, then he would be in deep shit. Very deep shit. Kyubi? Naruto asked with a slight stutter as he stepped up to greet a massive orange-furred fox. Said fox walked forward into the light, making his form known. Naruto had to admit he was a bit different than what he thought he'd be. Naruto thought that Kyubi would just try to kill him instantly. But it would seem that wasn't the case, well, at least not yet. Kyubi on the hand had different thoughts, as peered at the young boy. So, this is the Sasuke family reincarnation. Well, he doesn't have any facial qualities of that family. I am certain that he does have their blood. Jiju's blood. Biju thought, as he scanned Naruto. The fox nodded in response to Naruto's question, confirming Naruto's fears. He couldn't get a rest. First his best friend dies right before his eyes, and then he gets his first kill, who was once a friend, and now this bullshit. Yes, I'm Kyubi no Kitsune, the strongest of all 9 Biju. Kyubi introduced himself. Naruto nodded his head absently. I really want to thank you, Naruto said with a smile. Kyubi looked down at Naruto in slight confusion. Sure, he gave him chakra when needed it, but he didn't think he actually thanked him. It was no problem. Kyubi replied with a slight nod. Naruto nodded his head and gave one last look of gratitude to Kyubi. The 9-tailed fox's face morphed into a serious expression. Naruto saw the change and demeanor and looked on curiously. I'm going to get straight to the point. Did you notice the change in your eyesight when you fought that ice user? He asked seriously. Naruto took a second to think before nodding his head in affirmative. Yeah, was that what you're doing as well? Naruto asked curiously as he crossed his arms. Kyubi nodded in confirmation. It was sort of my doing, he responded. Seeing Naruto's look of confusion, he continued, well, I did cause your eyes to change. All I did was help you unlock them. What happened was, you unlocked a very powerful bloodline, he explained. Naruto looked on in shock that he had a bloodline. And if he was right, then it was a taijutsu. You unlocked the first stage of your bloodline. There are 4 stages of the bloodline, each are multitudes stronger than the last. Your taijutsu is called the Rinnegan, the strongest taijutsu in existence. You are the 3rd person ever to unlock it. Kyubi explained in a gruff voice, but there was a small trace of pride in his voice. Go figure, his host would have the most powerful taijutsu in existence. At least things would be interesting. But don't even think you're strong yet, Kyubi yelled out loudly. Naruto snapped out his thoughts and looked at Kyubi with a raised eyebrow. Tell me something. Do you even know how to use the Rinnegan? Oh wait, do you even know how to activate it at will? He asked mockingly. Naruto actually had to think about that. Kyubi was right, he didn't even know how to turn it on, much less actually use it. But don't worry. Even without my help, your abilities will come naturally, but that route would take at least 10, maybe 15 years. He explained in a serious tone. Naruto looked down, that would take forever, and Kyubi didn't even mention mastering the damn thing. Lucky for you, I know a good amount of the Rinnegan's abilities. But even if I don't know all of them, those alone will come naturally like I explained. He said with a small grin. Wait, can you help me? And even train me? I thought I would have to fight tooth and nail just to use your chakra, and yet you're volunteering to train me. Naruto incredulously. Kyubi grinned, finally the kid was using his brain. I'm not going to train you for nothing. If you want me to train you, then there will be 3 conditions. He explained with an expressionless face. Well, Naruto just thought of the offer, he could receive it from the strongest being on the planet for just 3 conditions. Naruto looked at Kyubi skeptically. What are the conditions? After you state yours, I have one of my own. Naruto said. Kyubi nodded his head and began. My conditions are, number 1, tear off half of that seal above you. It will allow me to access all of your senses, but also it will allow me to come into contact with you whenever I want, and vice versa. Finally, it will allow you to use more of my power, up to 4 tails. But you're nowhere near that level of control, so we'll save that for later. Kyubi explained. Naruto looked on, and nodded his head. It was acceptable. Nothing outrageous yet. The second condition is that you don't complain during training. I will not train a whiny brat. Naruto nodded, albeit with a little reluctance, but did so nonetheless. The last thing I want is that you release me from the seal when you die. There it was. Naruto expected something like this. Look Fox, I understand how much it must suck being trapped in a seal for hundreds of years. Hell, I sympathize with you. But I can't let you roam free knowing you'll hurt people. But when I get to know you, and come to trust you, then yay, I will release you when that time comes. Naruto finally responded with a small smile. The chakra beast looked shocked. He expected 2 things to happen. One was him to outright refuse, or 4 to accept without thinking of the consciences. I understand. He responded shortly. Kyubi was necessarily angry, but was still surprised at the maturity the kid held. It was respectable. The nose Kyubi, this may be the start of a beautiful friendship. Naruto stated with enthusiasm. The blonde truly felt bad for the fox. If it was anyone who knew about isolation, it was Naruto, so he could safely say he would follow up to his word. Kyubi looked down, and snorted lightly. The human was so naive, but he was young, and even more so on immortal terms. I want to know why you attacked Konoha. Naruto asked suddenly. Kyubi looked forward, and nodded his head slightly. I was sealed inside another Jinchuriki when I was ripped out, and was controlled. By the time I was released from that person's control, I was already so angry that I allowed myself to be controlled again. So, I started rampaging out of my own grief. I have a hunch on who controlled me, but I'm 100% sure it was him. Kyubi explained with a scowl formed on his snout, and growled, as he thought of that man, and of the cursed eyes. Naruto had a shocked look on his face, which Kyubi controlled. That shouldn't be possible. Naruto didn't know what he was more afraid of, the Kyubi being controlled, or the fact that there are people strong enough to control a creature of that strength. He shivered at that thought. His name is Uchiha Madara. He growled out. Where had he heard that name before? Uchiha Madara? Uchiha Madara, wait. Isn't that the guy who helped form Konohagakure, with the help of the first Hokage? Naruto asked suddenly. He remembered Iruka saying something about Uchiha Madara, but he couldn't quite remember. Kyubi, however, nodded his head in confirmation. Yes, that's him. But the only inconsistent factor is that he should be dead. So, either he found a way to become immortal or someone else has his eyes. Just as Naruto was about to ask another question, Kyubi interrupted him. You're waking up. Quick, tear off at least half of that seal right above you. He interrupted. Naruto nodded quickly, and started walking upwards on the wall of the cage. Once he got that high, he tore about half of the paper, and his world suddenly went black. Outside the seal. Ugh, what hit me? Naruto groaned mentally. He stood on both of his feet. He quickly realized that he was still on the bridge. So, I'm still on the bridge, huh? Did Kakashi-sensei do it? Did he beat Zabuza? Naruto thought, as looked around, trying to find Kakashi. The fog is still as thick as ever, he observed. Clang. 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 Naruto's head snapped up from hearing the sound of blades clashing. Naruto shrugged it off, and started running down the bridge. Just as he got to the fog's end, he saw Kakashi being double-teamed by Zabuza, and an unknown ninja with a glowing sword. He has dull green hair, and purple eyes. He was wearing what looked like a purple and blue sleeveless one-piece jumpsuit. On his forehead was a Megakure hit I-8. Is that fucking lightsaber? Naruto asked mentally. Inside the seal, Kyubi's face is palmed, leaving it to Kid to take the situation, and make a joke about it. Shrugging his shock off, he ran, and reached into his weapons pouch. Kakashi-sensei. Catch. Naruto shouted, and threw kunai toward his sensei. Kakashi swerved from another strike, and parried an upward slash from Zabuza's sword, hearing his name being called. Kakashi back a few feet, before peering his attention towards his blonde student, just in time to catch the incoming kunai, offering a nod to his student. Naruto nodded back before running at faster speeds to catch up to his sensei. He skidded to a halt right next to Kakashi. So, how's it going, Kakashi-sensei? Naruto asked, not once taking his eyes off their enemies. Perfect. As you should know, the one on the left is Zabuza. But the one next to him is Aoi Rakushi, a missing nin from our village. Kakashi explained to him. Do you know how strong this Aoi guy is? Maybe I can help. I know I'm not as strong as a nin, but maybe I can take this guy. Naruto asked, as ready to kunai, and turned it into a reverse grip. Kakashi nodded his head. An all-around skill, he's a bit stronger than that Haku kid. But when he's using that sword, he's at least low nin, maybe mid nin. Kakashi replied. Naruto had to love his luck. He couldn't win against a nin. Kyubi, I'm in a stump here. This guy is way stronger than I am right now. Can you tell me how to activate my Rinnegan? I really need it. Naruto asked seriously, as he slid in the Academy Taijutsu stance. From inside the seal, Kyubi nodded his head and spoke in complete seriousness. Yes, just push chakra into your eyes, and if you need any more help then I'll spare some chakra, but do not wait for an opening. If you see one then you have to exploit it, he said in his usual gruff voice. Naruto mentally nodded his head and did as he was told and pushed chakra directly in his eyes. They glowed briefly before they darkened to a light purple, and a single black ring formed around his black dot-like pupil. Naruto's chakra levels also jumped, causing the cyclone of wind to pick up on the area. Kakashi looked at his student curiously before stiffening. He gazed into Naruto's eyes and took a note that they were different than his usual bright blue eyes. Naruto Kakashi started, but never finished, as he was interrupted. Look at Kakashi-sensei, I don't really know either. But we don't have time for questions, we have other problems to deal with. Naruto said. He gestured with his thumbs pointing towards Aoi and Zabuza, who both looked ready to charge. Right? Kakashi responded slowly before charging forward towards Zabuza, who charged forward as well. It looks like it's just you and me, Brad, Aoi exclaimed as he got into a loose Kenjutsu stance. Naruto decided to make the first move and dashed forward at high genin speeds with the kunai in reverse grip. Aoi smirked and dashed forward as well, but he was miles faster than Naruto, running at low genin speeds. The two clashed in a stalemate and started parrying each other's strikes and slashes. Aoi, having the clear advantage, started using his superior strength and speed and easily put Naruto on the defensive. It only took a few minutes before Naruto was completely overwhelmed and was backhanded into a tree. Naruto grunted before falling back into a deeper part in the forest behind him. Okay, that hurt. Kyubi, any ideas? Naruto asked his partner. The fox grunted and responded. Look, he has the clear advantage, that much is obvious. He also has a sword that can cut through your kunai, as if they were butter. Not only that, he's stronger and faster. So, your best bet is either to make him underestimate you or catch him by surprise. If all that fails, then I'll lend you my power, he stated with a slight growl. He was in the same boat as his host. Naruto took a few seconds before responding. How about we do all three at the same time? Naruto suggested with a bead of sweat rolling down his face. The Kyubi hummed in thought before nodding in agreement. That doesn't sound like a bad idea. Sure, I'm game, he agreed. Okay, I'll create a few clones to distract him while I think of something, Naruto thought before making the cross hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto whispered as he created 10 clones. Okay, I want the two of you to make a trap. Now 4 of you lure him into the trap. The rest hide, and if you see an opening in Aoi while I'm fighting him, then please try to do some damage, Naruto instructed. All the shadow clones nodded their heads in an affirmative before dashing into the trees. 30 minutes later. Damn, Brat's actually good at hiding, I'll give him that, Aoi growled as he hopped. Suddenly, Naruto came flying straight out the tree line, causing the Chunin to equip his sword and quickly slashed Naruto in half. Too bad he didn't see him smirk beforehand. Instead of blood like he was expecting, Naruto erupted in a violent explosion. Another Naruto came flying out another tree line and basically detonated himself, causing another massive explosion. The real Naruto watched from afar, frowning. No, that was too easy. No way a Chunin could be taken out that easily, Naruto muttered. Naruto's blood froze when he heard a twig snap from behind him. Acting quickly, he quickly attached an explosive node to the kunai he was holding before throwing down at his feet. Naruto then jumped down onto a dirt path before detonating the explosive node, causing the whole tree to explode. Naruto sighed in relief as slumped down on his knees, breathing heavily. He was pretty exhausted. The fight with Haku and using Kyubi's chakra for the first time really melted his chakra reserves. If he had to guess, he probably only had 20, maybe 30% of chakra left. His train of thought was cut off from the sound of evil cackling from behind him, causing his eyes to widen in fear. Naruto really hoped Aoi didn't survive that blast, but it looks like he did. Did you really think that would kill me? A genin killing a Chunin, how laughable, Aoi asked rhetorically as he gripped his sword and activated it, causing the legendary sword to come to life. He took a couple more steps before coming right behind Naruto. Kyubi, this is our only chance, you know that, right? Naruto thought as he looked straight down at his own hands. Yay, I know what you want me to do. Give me the signal when you're ready, he responded. Any last words, Brat? The purple-haired Chunin asked as he pulled his sword back, ready to charge it into the back of Naruto's head. Yeah, you loose, Naruto suddenly yelled as his red chakra tails came to life. Both instantly charged forward and shot right through the surprised Chunin in the chest, causing blood to spurt from his chest. Aoi let out a strangled gasp as he spat out a glob of blood and fell onto his back. Naruto slowly stood up and turned around and retracted his tails from Aoi's chest. Naruto looked down at Aoi's terrified eyes. I'm sorry I had to kill you, but I did what I had to do, Naruto stated. Aoi chuckled bitterly and pulled a couple of scrolls along with his sword. Beaten by a kid, damn this sucks. Hey kid, do me a favor, Aoi asked as he sat up slightly to look at Naruto's sad and blue eyes. It's the least I could do, Naruto muttered, as he trailed off. Aoi looked on, at least the kid had honor. I want to know the name of the warrior who beat me here today, and finally I want you to have these scrolls, and my sword in those scrolls. Hold the Kenjutsu style for the sword. Those scrolls have some Suiten Jutsu, a good amount of Raiden Jutsu, and a small amount of Doten Jutsu. Aoi stated, as he spat out another glob of blood. He was dying, and both of them knew it. Aoi's skin also started to blacken, from unknown circumstances. Naruto Uzumaki. And if you really want me to have these items, then I'll accept. Naruto said. Aoi chuckled. And Uzumaki, no wonder I lost. Well, at least I know that sword is going to be used in great hands. He started, as he smirked slightly. Naruto's eyes widened. What did he mean? Hey, wait, what do you mean? You make it sound like you know my last name. Naruto asked suddenly. Wait, you don't know? Aoi asked, shocked. No, I'm an orphan, my parents died when the Kyubi attacked. Naruto explained with a frown. Aoi's eyes widened once more. Kid, the Uzumaki was once a clan full of talented shinobi and kunoichi. They were really talented in Kenjutsu and Kenjutsu, some of the best Suiten users as well. Well, best of luck to you, Naruto. He finished off before the last light that was in his eyes faded forever. Aoi Rakashima died. Naruto stood there, absolutely shell-shocked. He was from the clan. His train of thought was interrupted by Kyubi. Just as Aoi said, your clan was full of strong shinobi. Then even rivaled the Senju back in the day. Kyubi told him. Boy, it would be in your best interest to actually take the stuff he offered. The Raijin no Ken, Sword of the Thunder God, is a very powerful tool, once wielded by your second Hokage. Those two scrolls might come in handy, as well. Kyubi suggested. Naruto nodded absently, as he bent down, and stored the two scrolls in his back pockets. After he did that, he grabbed the Raijin no Ken, Sword of the Thunder God, and switched off the chakra flow from the sword. Naruto stared at it for a few seconds before he started walking down the dirt path. However, he stopped when he felt the wind pick from behind him. Naruto turned around, and was surprised by Kakashi. The one-eyed Chunin quickly ran over to Naruto, and crouched down to him. Are you alright, Naruto, and did you defeat Aoi? Kakashi asked his blue-eyed student. Yeah, I killed him. Naruto responded with a dead tone. Kakashi looked surprised, but nodded in understanding. First kills were always the worst. By the way, Naruto, where's Sasuke? He asked. Naruto's eyes widened, and his blood ran cold. Kakashi noticed, and started to raise his eyebrow. Kakashi-sensei, Sasuke died. The Ice Nine kills him. Naruto stated, as tears started to leak from his eyes. Kakashi's eyes widened, and looked at his student in shock. Naruto told me what happened. Kakashi said, his voice devoid of all emotion. Naruto didn't respond right away, but after a few seconds, he responded. We were trapped, we had no options. We couldn't even touch that masked hunter nin, we were both hammered with injuries. But I had it worse, I was pretty much done for, and the masked nin knew that, and decided to end the fight. Sasuke jumped in front of the jutsu, and saved my life, at the cost of his. All of a sudden, I felt fury beyond anything I've ever felt before. I used the Kyubi's power for the first time, and activated a bloodline. From there me and the masked nin fought, and I won. After all of that, he asked me to kill him, which I did, although I hated every second of it. Naruto explained while avoiding his sensei's gaze. He knew Kakashi favored Sasuke, so he knew he was going to be mad that he died. What Naruto was really afraid of was his sensei being mad at him and all out hating, just like pretty much the village did. However, he was caught off guard when Kakashi hugged him. As sensei? Naruto asked, surprised. I'm glad you're at least alright. I know how hard it is to lose a teammate and a best friend. Kakashi explained to his teary-eyed student. When I was your age, I lost my best friend the same way you did. He sacrificed himself to save me. He started, as he stood back up. Naruto looked up in shock. His sensei really went through the same thing he did. Was that why he wasn't blaming him about the loss of Sasuke? I won't let anybody die again. I have become stronger than anybody has before. I'll protect you, Sakura, old man Hokage, and everyone I care about. I won't let anybody get killed ever again. I promise. Naruto shouted, as he clenched his fist, and his eyes shined with determination. Kakashi looked down at his student with a few tears in his eyes. He's so much like his parents, it's almost unbelievable. But I know you won't be able to do all that without help. I promise you, Naruto, I'll do my best to help guide you. Kakashi thought. Sensei, I promise to lead your son to greatness. He thought with a small smile. Come on, Naruto, we have to get Sakura, Kakashi told his student. Naruto nodded his head tiredly, and took a few steps before passing out. Just before he hit the ground, Kakashi caught him, laid him on his back, and began walking. 2 weeks later. So, the last loyal Ichigo had died on your mission. Naruto-kun here unlocked a very powerful bloodline, and killed the missing nin Aoi Rakashima. Kakashi also killed nin Zabuza Mamachi, a 7th swordsman of the mist. Oh, Naruto-kun also retrieved the long-lost weapon of the Nidaime Hokage. Is it? Hiruzen Sarutobi listened with an emotionless voice. Team Kakashi nodded their heads slightly, causing the old Hokage to sigh tiredly. He already felt the headache he would get from the council. Okay, I will need Naruto-kun and you Kakashi in the council meeting that is scheduled in 2 hours. I need to hear your story, as well, Naruto-kun. Sakura-chan, Kakashi-kun you two may go, Naruto-kun you stay, we have things to discuss. He ordered with authority clear in his voice, causing everybody to nod. Kakashi and Sakura left the room. Both didn't feel like pushing the old Hokage's buttons anytime soon. Anbu, leave us. Sarutobi ordered. 6 figures appeared, and 1 second after that they were gone. Causing Naruto blink, was someone there? Jiraiya came out from hiding. He ordered strongly. Suddenly the big window behind Naruto opened and revealed a tall white-haired man that was dressed in red and green guy with chainmail-like armor underneath. He also had a large scroll strapped on his back. His forehead protector had the kanji for oil on it. This was Toad Sage Jiraiya, the loyalists of the Leaf Village. You always have to ruin my moment, Ha-sensei. The man named Jiraiya complained with huff. So that's Minato and Kushina's kid, huh? He doesn't look like much, and he's shorter than Kushina was at her age. Jiraiya observed the kid out of the corner of his eye, subtly wondering how strong and how well the kid was doing. Alright Naruto-kun, I think it's time that I explained something to you. I think you're ready. The old Hokage spoke with a small smile gracing his lips as he got up from his desk and pulled out a couple of scrolls from his bookcase behind his desk and dropped it on his desk, right in front of Naruto, who was still confused. Hey Kyubi, have any idea what's going on? I'm really confused right now. Naruto asked mentally to his partner. He and Kyubi had been doing a lot of talking recently, and both of them were on their way to becoming pretty good partners and friends. Naruto also learned a lot more about his bloodline. He was honestly astounded at what the Rinnegan could do. He still didn't believe that the thing was that powerful, but if this thing gave him the ability to control gravity on the first stage of the bloodline, let's just say he was very close to believing it was that powerful. I'm just as lost as you, to be honest. Though if I had to guess the way everyone seems tense, then I would have to say it's going to be important, so pay attention. He finished strongly. Naruto nodded mentally. He understood, now wasn't the time for jokes. Sensei, are you sure? The white-haired man asked uncertainly. Was Naruto really ready to know about his heritage? The old Hokage nodded stiffly, answering the Sanin's question. Jiraiya sighed and relented. Kenjutsu. Whispering in the shadows. The old Hokage started before the whole room lit up with a dull green aura, signifying Hiruzen's use of chakra. Now Naruto, what I'm about to tell you shall not be leaked to anybody. Understand? Sarutobi asked seriously. Naruto in return nodded as stiffly. He was still so lost. Remember all the times you asked your parents? He asked. Naruto nodded once again. I do know your parents, or at least I once did. Naruto looked shocked and hurt. The old man had lied to him. Why? Why you lied to me? Naruto asked with his head down. The old Hokage nodded sadly. He wasn't proud of it, but it had to be done. But it would seem little Naruto was finally growing up, after seeing some of the horrors of the world could really do that to someone. He only hoped Naruto wouldn't fall into darkness like his old student had. What do you want to tell me, Gigi? Naruto asked shakily. Naruto, I want to make a deal with you. When or if you make the rank of Chunin, I will tell you who your father is. But for now, I'll tell you who your mother is, and your grandfather. How does that sound? Sarutobi responded. Naruto nodded his head vigorously. Please Gigi. Naruto nodded with eyes filled with hope and desperation. The old Hokage's heart ached of seeing someone so young have those dreaded eyes. The eyes filled with pain, longing for affection. But he would at least try to fix that. After all, it was practically his fault that young Naruto was hated. If only he didn't tell everybody about who the Kyubi was sealed into, then maybe Naruto wouldn't be so hated, and maybe he would have had a decent childhood. Just maybe. Your mother's name was Kushina Uzumaki Senju. A very talented Kenjutsu and Kenjutsu user. A truly frightening Kunoichi. Hiruzen said with a small smile, as he watched Naruto lightly smile. He let out a few tears, but they weren't tears of sadness, but tears of happiness. He finally knew who his mother was, and to hear that she was strong, was pretty amazing, as well. Who would have thought the helpless being the son of a talented ninja? Naruto inwardly chuckled, although that chuckle wasn't full of happiness, no, it was full of bitterness. Oh, how he hated that name Dobe, it infuriated him to end. Every time I hear that phrase, it only reminded him of many of his failures. It was like a slap to the face every time he heard it. Your grandfather, however, is even more well known. After all, he's that mountain you stare at all the time. Hiruzen started with a chuckle, as he watched Naruto's eyes widen to comical proportions. He was the grandson of a Kage Hokage nonetheless. No, that's impossible. Why, you're lying, aren't you? There's no way. If I were the grandson of a Kage, then there's no way I would be treated like the scum of the earth, Kyubi or not. I refuse to believe it. Naruto shouted in denial. He shoved his head in between his hands and began to weep. This all had to be some kind of sick joke. Right. He felt a hand that rested upon his shoulder. He peeked a bloodshot eye out of his hands and saw the man with white hair. Your parents were great people. Your grandfather was, as well. He started with a warm smile. It took a few minutes, but surely Naruto calmed down and looked at Sarutobi with his bloodshot eyes. You're telling the truth, aren't you? Naruto asked sadly. Said Hokage nodded slightly with a small smile. So, I'm guessing the way you both praise my mother, then she's dead. Isn't she? Naruto asked suddenly, surprising the 2 level shinobi. He's a lot brighter than he lets on, both observed, although they weren't that surprised. Yeah, sadly she's a kid. I knew Kushina pretty well, I could tell you a lot about her. And I'm pretty sure Sensei could tell you about your grandfather, seeing as he was taught under him. Jiraiya told him with a chuckle. Wait, you never told me who exactly he was. Naruto exclaimed suddenly, causing both men to face the vault. Of course, they would forget. Your grandfather was Tobirama Senju, the best suit and user to ever grace the shinobi lands. Hiruzen explained with a bit of pride, as spoke about his latest sensei. But we were almost nothing alike, Naruto said, causing the two to raise their eyebrows. Yeah, Naruto was way sharper than either of them gave him credit for. But I was still naive. In a way you're both more alike than you think, Sarutobi said. Naruto raised his eyebrow in confusion. I thought Tobijiji was a very strict man, and planned everything beforehand. And in case you forgot, I never plan about anything, and I'm not really strict about anything, Naruto responded. Sarutobi looked at Naruto with his already raised eyebrow, even higher at the nickname he gave his sensei. Naruto, tell me, what personality would you have if you were not stunted by our village? Hiruzen asked seriously. Naruto had to do a double take at that. How would he act? I have no idea really. Naruto finally responded with uncertainty. He looked really focused, as if he was thinking of something. Maybe a bit more serious. Overall more knowledgeable. That's all I can really think of, Naruto admitted. The cage level shinobi chuckled. Well, you already have his fearlessness, his practical geniuses, his blunt nature. Tobirama sensei never acted without reason, neither did you. You always did have reasons for your actions. And most of all you have his stubbornness. Do you remember when you were second in your class? That was your first year, and suddenly you're the dead last of the class, and everyone either brushed off your scores from that year, as a fluke, or they simply forgot. He finished off, causing Naruto to look up at him in shock before breaking down in fits of mad cackles. It doesn't surprise me, I knew that you knew. I would expect nothing less for the Hokage. But don't think I was hiding my strength. I had no one to really teach anything besides Kakashi-sensei. It was just people going past me in strength and talent, while I stood there in place never getting any better. I never really had anyone to teach me in the academy. So, I spent my time making those who dislike me suffer by pranking them, Naruto admitted with a small smile. You didn't. Naruto let a small smirk show before nodding his head. My father, he was the yondaime, wasn't he? Naruto asked suddenly, causing the two gasps in surprise. How? Hiruzen asked in shock. Naruto's eyes whitened slightly before smiling faintly. I didn't, he said with a small smile, causing both men to face fold. They were both expecting a cool answer. I had my suspicions. Sakura is a big bookworm and never stops fangirling over how Kushina Uzumaki and the yondaime would have been the best couple. Seeing how she was rarely wrong about something that was stated in a book, I decided to take a shot in the dark, and I hit my target, Naruto explained, and let loose a fanged grin. The two men gaped like fish. They were just outsmarted and outplayed by a 13-year-old. How fucking humiliating, both of them thought. And he says he's nothing like Tobirama. Jiraiya and Hiruzen scoffed internally. That kid was brilliant, and they knew it. Okay, moving on. Naruto-kun, can you please show us your bloodline? Sarutobi asked with a short smile. Naruto nodded faintly and closed his eyes. Okay, we know it's a taijutsu. Neither Minato or Kushina were Uchiha, so he's not an Uchiha, and he's definitely not a Hyuga. Oh no, Jiraiya thought, as his heart sunk in his chest. It couldn't be. Could it? The only one who had those eyes was Nag. His train of thought was cut off where Naruto opened his eyes and showed a Rinnegan. It briefly glowed a bright silver before resuming to its normal dull purple color. The legendary Rinnegan, just as I suspected. Hiruzen thought briefly. How did you get those eyes? Jiraiya shouted suddenly. I saw my best and only friend die right before my eyes, and I was helpless to anything about it. It doesn't help that he sacrificed himself to save me, he answered back in an emotionless tone. Sarutobi winced slightly. He knew Jiraiya struck a fresh wound. The white-haired shinobi did a double take hearing his answer. It was exactly what Nagato told him when he first activated the Rinnegan. Look kid, I'm sorry. Those eyes just made me remember something I wished I didn't, he stated sullenly. Naruto nodded his head in understanding. He understood what that felt like. So what now? Naruto asked for some silence. Your things, as you would. Go train with Kakashi and your teammate Sakura. I'll have an ambu sent for you before the council meeting starts. Hiruzen responded with a nod. Hey old man, I was going to ask you if you could go shopping with me. That was my set of jumpsuits, and you know how the civilians are. Naruto asked the old Hokage. There's no need. Just go to the shinobi shop next to Anbu district. If you have any trouble, flare your chakra, and I'll be there. Hiruzen responded with a kind smile. Oh, before I forget, I want you to keep the Rage no Ken, Sword of the Thunder God, and take these scrolls. You might find them useful. Hiruzen said with a warm smile. Naruto blinked in confusion. Why do you want me to keep the Rage no Ken? Naruto asked. Well, the other Senju is currently over 20,000 miles away and hates the village. You, on the other hand, can have it since it is a family heirloom. He responded dryly, causing Naruto to nod in understanding, and grabbed the 2 scrolls and sword that were on his desk, and slid them in his backpack, and walked out the room wordlessly. Did you think I made the right choice, Jiraiya-kun? Sarutobi asked his student. Jiraiya looked thoughtful before turning towards his sensei. Only time will tell, old man. We'll see ya, I got research to do. He responded with a lecherous grin, puffed away in a generic shunshin. But it will. A couple of hours later. After shopping for some clothes and more ninja tools, he went back to the apartment and dropped everything off. After that was done, he quickly grabbed some of the clothes he had recently bought and started putting them on. He now wore a mid-collar length black long-sleeve shirt with a dull orange zipper running down the middle. He also had on dull orange pants that he had medical wrapping on his right thigh. He also had on his weapons pouch that attached onto his medical wrapping. He also had exchanged his blue hit I-8 for a black one with a long cloth that extended down to his lower back. All in all, Naruto thought he looked pretty badass. He decided to take Kakashi-sensei's advice to lower the amount of orange he wore, though he reluctantly did so. Naruto had to say, he compensated for it pretty well. Now all he was waiting for was Jiji to call him for the council meeting. Although, it didn't seem he'd have to wait long, as somebody knocked on his door, which he quickly opened, and greeted who knocked. Ah, Kat-san, you must be the Anbu Hokage Jiji called sent for me, right? Naruto asked. The masked Anbu had purple hair, and wore what every single Anbu wore. Yes, Uzumaki-san, shall we depart at once? She greeted him, but her question wasn't really a question, it was more like a statement. Naruto nodded his head. Seeing this, she placed her hand on Naruto's shoulder, and disappeared in a swirl of leaves. 3 hours later. The council meeting was surprisingly calm except for the civilians. While they weren't exactly hateful towards him, they did express their personal dislike to him. To be honest, it hurt a little bit. Naruto knew they didn't like him, and some even hated him, but the lack of respect was what truly surprised Naruto. But hey, Hiruzen warned him about that kind of stuff. The clan heads were truly different, they all were far more compassed, and all generally respected him, especially the Hyuga clan head, and Nara clan head. It was all thanks to Kyubi that he made it out of there alive. If he didn't have Kyubi's guidance, he would have definitely gotten eaten up in politics, and even then, there was only so much he could help with. The Aburame clan head was like Hyuga clan head in a sense, but he was far more knowledgeable. He didn't really say much, but he did ask Naruto some questions. He asked what happened during the wave mission, when the difficulty escalated, and so forth. The Nara clan head was relatively silent, only speaking when he really needed to. The fucker reminded him of Shika's so fucking much, but he guessed it was father like son, but he couldn't deny, Shika's father was brilliant. All the other clan heads didn't really say much either, except to Hokage. Once Hiruzen brought up Naruto's bloodline activation, all hell pretty much broke loose. Most of the civilians were in denial, though some looked interested. Power hunger bastards. The clan heads looked at Naruto and Hokage disbelievingly. The reactions of disbelief and practical awe only increased when Naruto showed them the Rinnegan. Those who knew about the legends of the eyes almost fainted immediately. The others who had no clue what those eyes were, had to be told what they were. Danzo, being the crafty son of a bitch he was, almost immediately suggested the Hokage to put Naruto in the Kra. Which confused Naruto to no end, well, at least before he actually knew what the Kra actually was. And unfortunately, Hiruzen had his hands tied on this one. They lost the Sharingan, and needed something in return. And Naruto was their compensation. 1 month later. It has been a month since the council meeting, and it's been rough. Sasuke's death hit harder for Team 7 worse than anybody thought or would like to admit. It was since then Team 7 became closer than anybody thought possible. Before, the team was a total mess, with Kakashi's laziness, with Sakura's fangirling of Sasuke, and Naruto being a loud idiot. Though, it didn't look like that anymore. Everybody became more serious in their shinobi duty. Sakura was in a funk. She believed that if she was stronger, then she would have been able to save Sasuke, and pretty much isolated herself from anybody except from Kakashi and Naruto. She trained a lot harder as well, even going as far as to ask for harder training from Kakashi, who was happy to deliver. Especially now. Naruto was a completely different story. It was like he was a different person. Well, he was still friendly, and still loved those close to him, and would do anything to protect them. Naruto became a lot more serious, but still liked to have fun. But the thing that changed the most was whenever he fought, he was as ruthless as could be. Kakashi was even shocked at Naruto's brutality. He became the opposite of friendly. It was like his eyes changed to natural friendliness, to cold eyes that held no emotion. Though, he wouldn't go as far to maim or seriously hurt someone in a spar. When Naruto wasn't sparring with Kakashi, he was learning from Kakashi. Hell, people thought Naruto was glued to Kakashi with how much time they spent together. Kakashi was still lazy, as ever, but he did change. While Kakashi was still lazy, he was much more serious. Instead of training his team in riddles, he now started training Naruto and Sakura with a hands-on approach, and also individually trained them with Kage Bunshin. That way they never really saw each other train, except for one day out of the week when they would train together. With Sakura, he was helping her to raise her chakra levels, and to help her learn some taijutsu. She couldn't learn much ninjutsu because of her lack of chakra that she held, but she made progress. Hell, if Kakashi had to guess, she had less chakra than Naruto did when he was born. Though she did improve, and to Kakashi, that's all that mattered. With Naruto, Kakashi helped him master his Rinnegan, and also helped him on his chakra control. Kakashi also decided to start teaching Naruto how to access his elemental affinities. Both were pleasantly surprised when they found out that Naruto had 3 elements, his strongest being Suiten, with Raiden being his second strongest, and his Futen being his weakest. So Kakashi decided to teach him a few low levels for each element. Kakashi taught him 2 Suiten Jutsu, 2 Raiden Jutsu, and finally 1 Futen Jutsu. Let's start it up again, Naruto. Kakashi instructed. Naruto nodded, and went through a few hand seals, and built up Suiten chakra in mouth. Mizrappa. Naruto shouted, as water gushed out of Naruto's mouth in the form of a long powerful stream. The water stream crashed into a couple of trees, and destroyed some of the bark on the tree base, but not completely destroying the tree. But, you got your form down, but you need to maintain control, and raise the power that you put in that jutsu. Other than that, you did good. Kakashi was criticized, and complimented. Now, try Raiden Jutsu. Kakashi ordered. Naruto once again nodded, and went through some hand seals. Jibashi. Naruto shouted, as lightning crackled around his hands. Once the lightning finished charging, he threw his hands forward, and sent a long stream of continuous pale blue lighting, that tore up some of the ground, as that attack flew forward, and struck a rock. The second the lightning came into contact with the rock, it was quickly shattered into a few larger pieces. Not bad, but your jutsu took too long to charge. If you were facing someone stronger than you, do you think that they're going to let you charge a jutsu? Especially one that could end their life, Kakashi asked rhetorically. Naruto shook him in a negative way. His sensei was right. It wasn't a bad start though, just keep using those jutsu until you get familiar with them. Tell me something, how do you think I got used to Chidori's tunnel vision? Kakashi asked his student. You said it was Sharingan that helped with tunnel vision. Naruto said. Kakashi shook his head. No, that's what I told everybody. But in reality, I just used it so much that the tunnel vision didn't affect me. But with Sharingan, it does help, but without it, I'm still able to use the Chidori. Kakashi explained much to the awe of his student. That is strong without any setbacks, Naruto stated in awe. I didn't say that. Kakashi responded, causing Naruto to come out in a stupor. Really, what are they? Naruto asked in shock. Kakashi just chuckled in amusement. Now that would be telling. He exclaimed, causing Naruto to face fold. Damn Kakashi and his secrecy. Now, I'm going to have you do another chakra control exercise. Kakashi told Naruto with a slight smirk that was covered by his masked face. Why, chakra control exercises so boring, Naruto whined. He fell straight on his back. How about I sweeten the deal? Now Kakashi had Naruto's attention. If you master both jutsu and the exercise, let's say 1 week from now, I'll teach you another jutsu for each element. Kakashi bargained. Naruto nodded his head, that seemed really reasonable. Now you see the lake next to us? Kakashi asked. Naruto nodded his head carefully, he didn't know where Kakashi was going with this. You're going to learn how to walk on water. Kakashi announced it in a sort of dramatic way. Naruto's sweat dropped before looking at him. Okay, I'm even going to question if that's possible. Naruto started, as walked over to a small lake. I'm guessing I have to use chakra, right? Naruto asked. Kakashi nodded his head in confirmation. Naruto sighed, and stepped on the water. He was still upright, but his balance was wobbly. Okay, calm down, this is just like tree walking, just on a higher level of control. All I have to do is find that medium, once I do that, the rest is easy. Naruto thought, as he steadied his chakra output. He kept subtly changing the amount of chakra he was putting out, trying to find that right amount. Kakashi looked from afar with his hand on chin. It took Sakura 6 days to master this exercise, and she even fell at her first step. But Naruto, he's completely still. Kakashi thought with a curious expression on his masked face. After about 5 or so minutes, Naruto's eyes snapped open, revealing his crystal blue eyes. Okay, I got it. Now to take the next step. Naruto thought, as he took his second step on the water. Good, now on to the next. Naruto thought with a calm face, as he took another step, but this time he started to shake. Okay, calm down. Naruto instructed, as he steadied himself, and stopped shaking. Kakashi looked on in shock. It took me a week to even take my second step, and yet he has at least 50 times the amount of chakra I had back in the day. Naruto, you truly are a prodigy. Kakashi thought in pride, as he watched his student complete an exercise that took him a full week to complete. Things are going to be interesting, that's for sure. Kakashi thought of a slight smile that was hidden underneath his mask. 2 months later. Now come at me with the intent to kill. If you don't, you lose. Kakashi ordered Naruto, who nodded, and adopted a small grin. Both readied their weapons, Kakashi with a short sword that he was long since familiar with, the Haku TM, white light chakra saber. Naruto pulled out a sword handle that had the Senju clan crest on it, and channeled his Raiden chakra into it. Yellow Raiden chakra suddenly came to life out of the handle. This was Raiden no Ken, sword of the thunder god. In a burst of speed, sensei and student disappeared only to clash in the middle of a grassy field in a stalemate. Kakashi pulled back slightly, and went for a downward slash, only for Naruto to roll away, leaped forward, and he quickly went for a quick slash to Kakashi's side, who swiftly blocked the strike. Naruto grunted before narrowly dodging a slash that was aimed towards his stomach. You've gotten better at Naruto, but you're still not on my level. Kakashi muttered. Naruto still heard clearly. Just as he was about to make his move, he felt cold steel resting on throat. Naruto looked forward with shock. When did he do it? How? Naruto asked curiously, trying to hide the fact that he was in deep shock, but Kakashi saw right through the act. You were too occupied with trying to read my movements. You didn't expect me to move at higher speed than what you were used to. You have to expect the unexpected, Naruto. Kakashi explained with his patented eye smile. Naruto sighed and surrendered. Kakashi removed the blade and sheathed Haku TM in its sheath that was attached to his right thigh. You did good, Naruto. If you were using the Rinnegan, I'm almost positive you would be able to follow at that speed level. We'll work on that next. Your physical strength could use work, as much as your speed does. We still have a few months till the Chunin exams. Now let's go again, just with Taijutsu now. Kakashi told him with an easygoing tone. Naruto just grinned and slid in a Taijutsu stance. A few days later. Team 7 reporting for a mission, Hokage-sama. Kakashi started with a respectful bow towards his leader. Team Kakashi, I'm guessing you're here for the C-rank mission. Hiruzen asked in a curious tone. Kakashi responded with a nod. The old Hokage pulled out a folder, skimmed through it before handing it to Kakashi. I don't have a C-rank mission, as of now. But I do have a B-rank mission. It appears Gaten has not stopped terrorizing Wave Country. So, I'm giving you this mission to assassinate Gaten and his industry. The person who sent the mission request has already sent the money, so don't worry about payment. You are to leave as soon as possible. Hiruzen responded in a serious tone. Kakashi cursed when he heard the Hokage speak. He couldn't do anything about Gaten earlier because of the mission parameters, and without the Hokage's consent, they couldn't do anything. Without those, he couldn't act. Naruto and Sakura were in a better position. He hated leaving them without killing Gaten, but they had no other choice. Now no, it was an entirely different story. Great, now we have reason to out that fucker's head on spike. Naruto started with a malicious glint in the eye. Sakura and Kakashi slowly edged away from him with nervous faces. Now, get out of my office. The Hokage shouted suddenly, scaring Team 7 before running out the room, leaving a small dust cloud. I wonder how all this will play out. Hiruzen thought, as he leaned back in his chair before blowing a puff of smoke out from his mouth. A couple days later. It was nighttime, and everything was quiet. Team Kakashi sat on a hill that was beside Gaten Shipping Industries. The place didn't even look like an industry, it looked like a fucking jail. There were at least a couple hundred thugs that were guarding the place. Okay team, listen up. Kakashi called quietly, getting Genin's attention. We do this quietly and quickly. Sakura, you'll be with me, you haven't had your first kill yet. Naruto, you'll take care of the south and west sides of the compound. Once you get done, I want you to come and find me and Sakura. Everyone hears that. Kakashi asked them seriously. He wasn't about to lose another student in this cursed place. Naruto and Sakura nodded their heads stiffly. Now disperse. Kakashi ordered Sakura into Shunshin, body flicker, and Naruto disappeared in a burst of speed. Naruto appeared in a swift move and shoved a kunai in the back of the guard's head, killing him instantly. He quickly pulled kunai straight off the guard's head, causing blood spurt. Naruto gulped slightly before stealing his resolve. He had to do this, they were horrible people. And they deserved nothing better. They had to die. Though, I'd wish it would be easier. Naruto thought solemnly, before disappearing in the night. Naruto reappeared right in front of someone, and sliced his head off with a silver-bladed ten. Naruto crouched down, and formed a cross-hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto whispered as he created 3 clones and mentally ordered them to scatter, which they automatically did left in a burst of speed. It only took maybe 10 seconds for the clones to get into position for a kill. All they needed was the order from the original. Each clone had about 2 and maybe 3 thugs to kill, if Naruto's assumption was correct, and that didn't even count the inside of the compound. Let's do it, Naruto thought before the massacre started. The clones efficiently killed the thugs. Whether that be from cutting off their head, stabbing them in the heart, slitting their throat, or just throwing a kunai straight through their head. All it took was a few seconds before 10 maybe 20 thugs hit the ground, dead, with blood pouring out of their fatal wounds. That's all it took before Naruto readied his brand new ten that had fresh blood on the blade and rushed forward. In a quick burst of speed, Naruto appeared in front of 3 thugs, who had shocked expressions on their faces, and quickly decapitated 2 and disappeared once again. The lone thug looked at his dead friend and looked like he was about to scream. Suddenly Naruto appeared behind the fear-struck thug. He quickly came from behind him and grabbed him. Naruto quickly covered the thug's mouth before snapping his neck with a sickening crack. Naruto looked down at their bodies with an emotionless expression on his face, but his eyes held sorrow. He hated doing this type of stuff, but he was a ninja. The killer for hire. Naruto shrugged it off and dashed forward once again. Naruto mentally ordered his remaining clones to scout out the area for any remaining thugs. Just then he was bombarded with random information and locations that were near him. Naruto jumped on top of the main compound roof before crouching down in pain. Okay, what hell was that? Naruto thought with a pained expression on his face. You remember what your clone remembers. That was your first time experiencing that. It was bound to hurt at first. Kyubi explained to him with his abnormal deep voice. Wait, you said that I remember what my clone remembers. If that's so, then why didn't it happen before? Naruto asked, as the pain was disappearing. Truly, I have no idea. He responded, much to Naruto's dislike. After a few moments of rest, Naruto was back on his feet. He quickly jumped down from the building and landed quietly next to 2 thugs. They didn't even notice him. Naruto pulled out kunai and threw it, hitting someone square in the head, killing him instantly. Just as the next thug noticed Naruto, he couldn't do anything, as his head was chopped clean off. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Naruto started quietly, as he created 10 clones. He gave them all the mental command to scatter and kill any thugs they found. Naruto didn't have much time to spare. He was supposed to get done in a few minutes, maybe a little less. But now, he was well over the 5-minute mark. Naruto looked at his clones, as they swiftly killed unaware thugs. They never stood a chance. It was a bloody massacre. Naruto looked down, his emotionless facade finally dropped, and was replaced with shame and disappointment. His clones dispelled at once, and Naruto instantly received their memories and terrors that would forever be embedded in his mind. His frown got even deeper as he sorted out the memories that he got from his clones. Just as he was about to leave to find Kakashi, he felt a stinging sensation in his eyes. He winced in pain before closing his eyes and rubbing them, trying to ease the pain. A few moments later, the pain stopped, and his eyes, instead of his natural blue eyes, were now replaced with his Rinnegan eyes, but they were different, and Naruto felt that difference. Instead of the 1-centric circle that he previously had, it was now replaced with a 2-centric circle that was around his dot-like pupil. Kyubi, what happened to my eyes? Everything's a bit clear, and I can see something blue in the trees and in the grass. What the hell is going on? Naruto mentally asked. Kyubi smirked and responded. Your eyes evolved to the 2nd level. He told his host with a slight smirk and furry snout. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise. But why would it evolve here? Naruto asked with a shocked expression on his face. It's because of the need to level up the Rinnegan. Not all things are achieved by training hard work. Some are achieved by guilt and sorrow, some even with shame. That's what you felt. An extreme amount of shame and guilt, that's what triggered your ascension. Kyubi explained with a serious voice. Naruto looked surprised for a second before nodding his head in understanding. That did make sense, well, at least a little bit. Do you know what the 2nd level gives me? Naruto asked. Kyubi nodded his head from the seal. Yes, the abilities which come with the 2nd stage are small increase in chakra reserves. Your chakra control has been improved dramatically. You now have the last 2 elemental chakra affinities that you were missing. Ninjutsu and Taijutsu can be copied up to some extent, except the bloodline jutsu and anything bloodline related. Also, you were given the ability to combine your chakra affinities to make sub-elements that were only accessible unless you had set bloodline X, water plus wind chakra equals Heimten. Fast movements can also be seen and predicted like the Sharingan, but on a lesser scale. The user is not affected by up to B rank, and lastly chakra can be seen in detail, but a great deal worse than the Byakugan. Kyubi explained much to Naruto's shock. Once he got his jaw off the floor, he had to ask, this was too good to be true. Are you sure, Kyubi? I mean, that's a big jump in abilities, and I don't feel that different. Naruto asked shakily. The demon just snorted softly. Yes, you moron, that's all real. Get ready, come time you get back in the village I'll start training you as well. I believe it's time I start, he told Naruto. If it wasn't in such a shitty situation, Naruto would have jumped for joy. But he had to get serious, and he had to regroup with the rest of the team. Few minutes later. Thanks for watching my video, leave a like if you enjoyed my video, and also do consider subscribing to my channel for more awesome content. See you next time, till then sayonara.